Welcome back to the Lipoedema Podcast. We are your host, Shell.
And Tiana. And today we are having another episode with just Shelley and I, shooting the breeze. And today we're going to talk specifically about how to talk to kids about lipedema.
This is a really tricky one, and it's something I've seen pop up in different Facebook groups. And there's quite the divide. Some people are like, don't talk to them about it. Like, no, they're too young. Don't, And I'm like, but all of us, if we'd known earlier, we could put some strategies in place to look after our lymphatic system. We at least know what a lymphatic system was.
And we know what the
word is. We'd be able to start, looking up things, and we could be proactive.
Yeah.
So I believe, and I know that we should talk to our children. So we both have three daughters. I have a son as well, but he isn't affected. But my three daughters, there's a possibility that they could be. My eldest, not at this stage, although her hip to waist ratio, is she has got wider hips and tiny little waist, but she's a fine little thing anyway. My second daughter, she is taller than me, so she's 5'11", I think. She has hypermobility. She bruises easily. But no, she doesn't look like she has anything. She's got knees. She's got knees. The elder two both have knees and they're shaped. And then my youngest one, she definitely has column-shaped legs like me. She's 14, and and she was complaining the other day that her jeans are getting a bit tight around the hip. So she definitely could develop. Yeah, it could develop. It could just be her shape, and it could progress for sure. But they, when I first found out I had lipedema or what lipedema was, they came to me and they're telling me who I need to follow on TikTok, and they're telling me all of these things.
The social media age.
Yeah, right. And so I don't think not telling them about something is benefiting anybody, and holding off on having conversations and not talking about it in front of them. But it has to be done in the right way. We don't want to be hating on our bodies because of lipedema. We don't want to spin it in this terrible negative, oh, woe is me way. We want to say our bodies have this condition and this is what we do to make the most of it.
Yeah. And we don't want to attach any kind of emotion.
No, that's right. That's right. And we need to have hard conversations with our kids. And the best way to have them is just to be upfront. Just don't beat around the bush, just upfront. They know what I'm going through, and that they were at that early stage of when I found out about it. So they've been with me the whole time. And my eldest is actually studying nursing, and she was all excited because she came home and said when they were talking about the lymphatic system, she was able to talk more into lipedema. And she actually was telling her classmates about lipedema. So that was pretty cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between talking about it, as talking about it to your kids, and talking to your kids.
Yeah.
So say my children are 7 and they're not at the right place at the moment. Firstly, for me to even identify whether they could be candidates for lipedema. But secondly, for their brains to be in the right place to take in any information for themselves. So say they become a teenager and they clearly develop lipedema and they're struggling. There's certain ways to talk to your kids about how they might be able to support themselves. Do they feel painful? I remember when that happened to me. How about we get you some compression? You can see if that helps. How about you come up on the vibration plate up here and see if that helps? Or come and sit in, the pump that I've got. Not your legs look big, and if you don't do this, then they're going to get bigger. Or don't eat that. Oh no, don't eat that lolly because you're just going to get bigger. We can't put our fears onto our kids, but we can talk about how they might best support it. And I think the diet stuff is probably, we might need to leave that alone.
Yeah, leave that alone.
But all the other things, and as long as you're making healthy meals at home for your kids, you don't have to talk, you can talk about health as a whole. We're making this because it nourishes our body, not so that your legs don't get big.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And don't project your shit onto them.
Right.
That is the biggest thing. Don't be projecting everything that you went through onto your kids. That's not fair.
Also, my 7-year-olds know that I wear compression. And because I haven't been wearing compression for a while since my pregnancy, I've started to wear it again. And one of my daughters is saying, Mummy, why are you wearing your stockings today? I said, oh, because my legs were feeling a bit sore and it just makes me feel better. Simple, easy, log that away. She's going to, have that in the back of her head for a while. And if she ever develops lipedema, I used to wear stockings. And then that conversation won't be so jarring to her.
Yeah.
We have conversations about lipedema around the house. Like, they don't sit on my lap. It hurts Mummy's legs. Like, you're big girls now. Please don't sit on Mummy's lap. Sit next to me. We can have a cuddle. But we don't talk about it in any sort of negative way. They're little. You have a different situation because yours are older.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's the same thing though. It's exactly the same thing. Like, we want them to know the strategies that we have in place. We want them to have access to that. So we wouldn't withhold any information from them. Like, you wouldn't do it about anything. Like, you wouldn't do it when they get their period. Like, are you going to, how are you going to talk to them about that? Are you going to tell them, give them, maybe a heat pack would work. Maybe you need a Panadol today if it's really heavy. And all those things. Like, you're not going to berate them about having their period or be negative about it. So I think maybe the same way you would talk about that, you would talk about lipedema and how to support that.
Yeah, I like that similarity.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that makes me just think about talking to my kids about their periods. Wow, that's going to come up in the next sort of 3 to 5 years. And I'm so interested in that conversation because we're so off topic right now, but I've always felt so negative toward my cycle. Okay. And I never want to perpetuate that onto my children. And so I guess practicing not putting negative connotations onto the period is probably good practice for doing the same thing with lipedema when they get old enough. Yeah. The period will always come first and then the lipedema may follow. Yeah. And so practicing just information and exactly how to best support yourself.
Yeah. That's all we want. We want them to be supported in whatever happens in life, anything that happens. We want them to know we're there for them. We're their people. We're safe.
And we've got some strategy.
And we've taken strategy. Yeah.
The other thing is, when I was younger, I wasn't listening to my parents. If Mum knew about lipedema, that would have been amazing for her. Mm-hmm. But if she did, and then she recognized it in me, and she suggested I do some things, it would have gone right over my head until I got to like 25, and I'm like, Mum, you were so smart, you were right. So I guess when we're talking to our kids, don't then expect them to jump to action and do what you say. They'll log it away until they're ready to receive it or until their symptoms to get to the point where they want to pay attention to it. Okay. We've all been through that journey where we've been diagnosed and we've logged things away because it's been too much for us. So until they're ready, I wouldn't push it on them, but having open conversations about, you might like to do this, or let's do it together. Like, let's watch a movie. I'll get out the lymphopress and let's watch a movie and I'll put you in. Yeah. Together. Non-threatening. Why? I told you to do the vibration plate in the morning, or you don't exercise with me, or, it's very different language.
Yeah, absolutely.
So shut down.
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's got to, come from a place of love.
And we know.
And acceptance.
Like, we know that if we had implemented strategies sooner, our lives would have been much improved. Mm-hmm. And so that pressure sometimes can go onto them and our urgency to get them to do the right things because we know what's coming. Yeah. But it's not our journey and it's not our body and we have to, it's going to be hard. I must say, if my kids show sign of lipedema, that's going to be really tough for me to know that they'll do it in their own time. Yeah. And whatever will be is not my.
It is hard, and because when we get to that stage, like our kids go through, in their primary school years, they're very family orientated. It's all mum and dad are in control. I'm with my family. This is my family unit. And then when they get to high school, that branches out and they start spending more time out of the house. They start spending more time at their friend's house. And then in the later teens, they're out in the city. They're going to the beach. They're not in our control. But
the circle of influence
changes and broadens. And so it's not just us they're getting the message from them. So, and they can also support their friends.
Yeah.
Which is good because we've given them those tools. Oh, that's what I was trying to say. I'm so sorry. As I was trying to say, was when it gets to those later teen years or even from 14, we've done all the work.
Yeah.
Really. Then as parents, our job is just to guide.
Yeah, and to love.
And to love and accept because they're going to stuff up and they have to learn from their mistakes. Like we have to let them. And that is really hard. That is really hard. My son turned 19, just turned 19, and he's been on Fraser Island. And so he took his Land Cruiser up there. He drove on the sand. He'd never driven on the sand before. He's camping in a swag on the sand, on the beach. And the amount my husband was trying to protect him and tell him everything he needed to know. And then he sort of turned to me, he goes, "What more can I do?" And I went, Nothing else.
Let him get bogged.
Yep.
Get leaks in his tent.
Yep. He got bogged. Someone had to put a snap strap on and they got video footage of him and he got a sticker saying that he got bogged. And, it is a rite of passage. So I think from the age of 14, we become more of a guiding light than an influence.
And I have a feeling they listen to their friends' parents more than they listen to us by that age. So if you've got a good network of your school, your kids' school friends' parents, get them on board with the strategy to lovingly mention a lymph press or mention, vibration plate or, some nutritious food and protein and whatever.
Yeah.
But I guess the crux of our conversation is it's not within our control, and all we can do is make sure that it's not associated with anything negative.
Yeah.
We're not projecting our fear onto them.
So if you're newly diagnosed and are feeling that fear and that, my goodness, what am I doing with my life? Why is my body like this? All that spiral, don't talk to your kids then.
But heal that part of yourself.
Yeah.
And then you can talk to your kids and talk to them about the strategies they can implement if and when they're ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, teach them how to love themselves despite anything that may present.
And, I think as much as, our kids, they're digital natives, social media is just part of their lives. I think that is the beauty of social media now. Even though we've got all this AI crap coming up, there is a lot of people just showing up.
Yeah,
that's just showing up, and there will be so many people that they can jump on and they'll be represented online. They're like, oh, that person's like me. Oh, she looks like me.
Had TV and it was
magazines.
Very skinny and gorgeous people.
Yeah,
on TV and in magazines.
Yeah,
and then making fun of the people who lived in large bodies. Or the magazines are all like, lose weight fast. This superstar lost 15 kilos.
on the cabbage soup diet.
Yeah, that's right. So we had all of that language about there was only one right type of body. I am noticing on TV now that there's more body diversity in newer shows that are coming out.
Yeah.
It's moving away from the really, really thin people. Yeah, there might be a thin person, but it's not the core focus of the group. It's like there's all different kinds of bodies.
Yeah.
And I really like that about media these days. But you're right, social media is putting its best foot forward because everybody that come up differently in every aspect of life. Like they're showing up online.
Yeah. You may need to navigate that a little bit and unfollow some people or, find the people that you want to follow and that's yours. And that's yours. You get to narrate that however you want to. You're creating your social media. So, that's really...
Yeah, watch your kids around social media and stuff. It's a scary place, but also I think it's an empowering place when you're following the right people. There are a lot of people doing great things.
Yeah.
In the body neutrality, not body positivity. We don't need to love ourselves all the time, but just understand that our body has a function higher than what it looks like. And it's doing incredible things every day. If we focus on that aspect, then
Yeah, absolutely.
Our kids will be much better off. And just have nourishing food around. And they can take it or leave it, and they'll still go for the chips, and they'll still go for the lollies, and they'll still have the soft drinks. But if they're used to having really good, healthy food, then when they go out into the world and they have their own house, they'll just naturally, like, they'll go off the bandwagon for a while and have meat goreng because they're broke. And then when they do get money, they'll be like, oh, I'm used to having good, nutritious food.
Yeah.
So I'll have that in my life too.
Yeah. There's a place for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even some dark chocolate.
Even dark chocolate.
Milk chocolate, if that's what you like.
Yeah.
As long as you're doing it with love and not doing it.
Yeah. No guilt.
Out of self-loathing.
No guilt.
No.
Whatever you have, just have it. Have enough. Move on.
Yeah.
Just have enough. You don't have to eat a whole block of chocolate. Usually one line is
Yum.
we'll get us through. Scratch that itch.
Yeah.
Scratch
Yeah.
the itch and move on.
It's really interesting seeing the discourse on social media about talking to kids about lipedema. And I reckon most of the people that say don't talk about it is people that have that negative connotation toward it.
Yeah.
And they're just not ready to say it in a way that can be not negative.
Yeah. Because
Not
the thing is, so if you had a family history of diabetes, would you keep that for your family? You wouldn't. Asthma. If you had a family history of asthma and your child has got a bit of a wheeze going on, so are you going to look into that? And I think that we need to look at it that although it is a weight associated illness, it is still an illness that we have no control over.
True.
It's not like it wasn't our lifestyle that got us here. It's not like we're, on Wally, like we're just up on on a cruise ship drinking our meals and not moving every day. Like it's not like we've created this like that. It's just that we've been born with this genetic predisposition to turn on, and something tragic happened, some trauma, something happened to turn it on in us. And it's just part of life, just part of our lives anyway. And that can happen with anything, cancer, diabetes, any autoimmune condition. Like I think we need to take away the fact, because so many things are like, oh, it's lifestyle, bad lifestyle created that. And that's not what's happened here. It's not because we played video games too much and watched too much TV and, that's not what's happened here.
One other thing that's just crossed my mind is teach them how to dress for their body shape. So, as young kids, we want to go to the popular stores. When I was younger, it was Supre. I wanted to go to Supre. Supre is not made for somebody with a curvy body.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. It was never explained to me that it just, or I don't think I even needed an explanation. I think it was like, well, how about you try these clothes from this store because they will fit your body so much more comfortably.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to do more things in these clothes because they're made better for your body type. Not good or bad, not for larger people, for curvy. Let's lose those words. But I'm going to take you shopping here and we're going to find clothes that feel good on you.
Yeah.
We actually know how to dress for our body shapes now. People with lipedema are very good at dressing for their body shapes. Let's impart that wisdom onto our kids without labeling it in any sort of way. No, we're going to shop at this store because they have great clothes that really suit your tiny waist, or they're
better quality,
yeah,
better fabric,
better stitching,
yeah,
and just made for your body shape.
Yeah,
not a curvy body, not a bigger body, your body shape.
And it's not about when we dress to feel better, not to look better. I don't care if you feel comfortable in a midriff top, wear a midriff top. Yeah, for what I have always wanted to just wear like a sports bra to the gym, or just wear a sports bra walking, because I always feel bloated. Like I'm in this constant state of bloatedness. So I think I need to fix that this year as well. And I'm going to go walking
in a sports bra. Challenge
accepted.
Sports bra. Shell walking in a sports bra. She's going to do a reel on it before that.
I've always wanted, because people just look so healthy. And when I say healthy, I don't mean skinny. I do not mean skinny. And even
healthy, confident.
I see these gorgeous girls because I live right near the water. And these girls just be walking and they're just chatting, having their coffees. They're thinking about that they're in a sports bra.
Yeah.
That's just what they wear. I want to get to that point that that's just what I wear.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm not looking at anybody going, oh, your arms, or yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going, oh my gosh, who are you?
Yeah.
What a beautiful day to go out walking.
And I live on the Gold Coast, so the variety of women and girls is amazing. It astounds me. Just this little melting pot of so many different looks and styles. And yeah, I love it. It's so diverse. And I will be there by the end of the year. I'm not going to do it next week because I'm still feeling quite bloated. But I did buy from Benefiber
this year. It's January.
It's January.
You're all right.
Yeah.
12 months.
Okay.
Love that.
We're on it.
I think that's all we have to say.
I think that was it. Yes. Have a conversation in a loving, supportive way and make sure you are feeling at ease with your diagnosis before you have it.
Protect yourself too.
Yeah.
It's not up to us to solve our kids' problems. You can just give some suggestions.
And that goes for, I guess, nieces as well.
True. Yeah.
Anyone in your circle, have the conversation as educating them, not you've got this or I think you've got this.
Yeah.
Just more of a, I have this. And, it's hereditary. And, genetically, you could be predisposed. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, everyone. Until next time, have a good day.
Bye. The Lipedema Podcast 2025 is powered by Elegance Lymphatic Care. Lipedema and its symptoms vary from individual to individual. The opinions and advice voiced in this podcast are of a personal nature and used for educational purposes.
Please take away from this podcast what resonates with you, and please see your GP or preferred specialist for diagnosis and healthcare. We are Shelley and Tiana from the Lipoedema Podcast. Until our next episode, bye for now.